so we are ready to party.
They're classy too, man. I can wear this on a date.
People who are most successful are the ones who don't just give up.
We have officially partnered up with Albemarle Paper Supply. Albemarle Paper Supply services paper products within the cities of Charlotte, Concord, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Salisbury, Morrisville, and smaller cities in between. From fiber, plastic, and foam bowls, paper towels, tissues, napkins, takeout containers, gloves, to janitorial supplies, and much, much more, Albemarle Paper is dedicated to bring you the paper goods you need. Customers can pick up products directly at Albemarle Paper's warehouse located at 735 Henson Street in Albemarle, North Carolina, or products can be delivered to you at your business doorstep. Today's live is also brought to you by CL Driving School. CL Driving School is a truck driving school located in Indian Trail, offering programs for both commercial Class A and Class B licenses. With your choice between automatic and manual transmission, their classes consist of small group trainings with one instructor per truck. Training is available on weekdays, weekends, and evenings. Not only do you receive classes, but opportunities for sponsorship programs, recruiter visits, and job placement assistance also occurs. CL Driving School is also trilingual with classes offered in English, Spanish, and Arabic. Register for classes today by calling 704-821-1111. Hello and welcome to another episode of the MLS Corner, one of the best corners in all of the MLS. It is a great Tuesday afternoon, a hot Tuesday afternoon here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And in a hot Charlotte, I got to bring the hottest guys I know in all of Charlotte, North Carolina. I got Lee from CLTFC Fan TV. Lee, my man, how are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Great to have you. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Got you, man.
And then we also have a very special guest today. We've got my man, Toño, Antonio, Tony, however you want to call him, as long as it's a Toño version, Ramos, who works Charlotte FC Spanish TV. Toño, how are you today?
Good. Finally on your podcast. I'm honored to be here. I was waiting for this time.
I'm glad to have you, man. For the people that don't know you as well, I want you to kind of tell them a little bit about who you are, because I think, like, anytime we do a press conference or anytime, like, I want to talk soccer with somebody, like, you understand the game really, really well, from not only from a fan perspective, but very, like, you understand it from a tactical perspective really well as well. Every press conference that we go to, you ask Miguel really great specific questions. So kind of just want you to kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who Toño is.
Well, I've been working with the Carolina Panthers as well since 2015. I started as a content creator, like social media manager, and taking the broadcasting in Spanish in Mexico. Then in 2020, I moved to Charlotte to do the color commentator with Jaime Moreno, which is my partner with Charlotte FC TV in Spanish as well. So this is like my third year living in Charlotte, but it feels like officially the first year, because after the pandemic situation and all of this. But yeah, I've been fortunate to work for the Panthers and the Charlotte FC, both great franchises. And actually, I was, I'm a Carolina Panther fan since I was a little kid. So this is a crazy path. It's a crazy journey that I've been in here. So, but I'm very happy to be in Charlotte and call it my home, and just to be a bridge with the Hispanic and Latino community with both teams, with Panthers and the Charlotte FC. And yeah, my approach and my mindset on and off the field and on and off the broadcast booth is always, these tactical things and understanding concepts or patterns or what the team wants to do. And that's sometimes I ask Miguel some hard questions, but he's super open to answer those questions and to be clear on what he wants to do with the team. And I think it's pretty clear what the team wants to be moving forward. So yeah, I just try to, during the broadcast, during the calls, I just try not to look at the ball. That's one of the things that I like to do, because I know that Jaime, he does the play-by-play. He's all over the ball and just calling the plays, but I try to watch the spaces, the movements of the players without the ball, so just to understand something different and try to communicate those aspects of the game with the fans.
I love that. I love that. Tell me a little bit about, like your perspective now. Like obviously you've been in the Panthers world, but with the Charlotte FC world, what have you noticed about like the fan base or the culture of Charlotte FC versus Panthers?
Yeah, it's a good question. I wouldn't say that I'm impressed because we already know that the Charlotte is a soccer city, and I was fortunate enough to be the voice of the Bank of America Stadium for one night during the Mexico-Ecuador game. I was a PA, and you just can feel the atmosphere was already there, and not just with the Latino community or the Hispanic fans, but American soccer fans and European and Asian soccer fans that live in North and South Carolina. It's just like multicultural. That's soccer. It's there's no nationalities in soccer, and that's you just speak one language. It's the soccer language when you are on the field or when you're on the stands or in the supporter section. I just love the supporter section. It's something very unique that you don't find that with the Hornets. You don't find that with the Panthers because of the rules of each league. And that's what soccer gives you, the opportunity to create these bonds and being really the 12th man in the stadium. And that's what I love about soccer. And of course, I love the Panthers. I love the NFL. I think it's probably the best league in the world. But just, soccer hits different for me. Being from Mexico, and I played my entire life soccer, and yeah, it hits different. It feels like home, and it's my natural language. I have breakfast watching soccer, I have lunch watching soccer, I have dinner watching soccer, and that's what brings us together.
Yeah, 100%. Even when I look across, like, I guess MLS, in terms of more of what I do, like, content creating where it's not like actually working for like a specific club is like doing my own thing. Like a lot of it is a lot of like foreigners or people with like, like not just regular Americans. I don't know, that kind of sounds bad, but like, like Lee is from England, right? Like I'm
Come
from
on, you
Missouri,
Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
unfortunately. Uh,
What?
you know,
Why?
and so like it's really cool. Like we like either we
Yeah,
embrace this league or like, what, like it's cool that we kind of see the perspective of like, what, like, yeah, Europe is awesome. Yeah, stuff that happens in South America in terms of like, the culture. But like we have like our own version of soccer here. And you know what? It's really cool. Like it's like you said, like it's gonna be very difficult to find any worse in any other place in the world that has the diversity that we have here in the MLS.
exactly. And that's what soccer in America brings. And there are a lot of people that they say that at some point that soccer didn't belong in America, but you can see families, as Miguel said, you don't need anyone else to bring in the MLS to know that what's happening in the US is translating to the men's national soccer team and to the MLS and the academy teams. And it's just the infrastructure that they, Americans have here. I'm very jealous because how many Latin American countries would love to have just the team facilities that they have in the US and the talent and the athletes that they have here? So
Yeah,
it's a win-win for everyone,
yeah.
and it just
People,
brings people
yeah,
together.
we're getting a little off topic, but this is good. Like people talk about like the USA's like national team's growth based on how the MLS is growing, but also like Canada as well. Canada has benefited from the MLS's growth.
Right.
Like you've seen, like obviously they finished first
Through
in.
Canada.
And trust me, some Liga MX in Mexico, they need to learn a lot from MLS.
Mm,
I'm telling you, because the product that we have in Mexico is kind of dying for audience or for just a fan experience in the stadium. We don't have this fan experience that we have Bank of America Stadium or in any other arena or stadium in America. So we've been missing that in Mexico, and we need to learn as Mexicans. And the soccer people in Mexico, they really need to work harder just to get the best things out of soccer in the U.S. and just translate it to our
Is
country.
that
So
why the Mexican team can't beat the U.S. team anymore?
no, I'll say that's a different story, and that's a different
I'm just
topic for
busting on you,
another
man.
podcast. Yeah, no.
I had to throw that out there. I had to throw it out there.
Lee, listen,
It,
I
it, is-
want
it, is-
I
it is
want
a
Thunder
year
to
to
come
do
back in the future, so don't mess it up.
Yeah, let's talk about that in 2023.
Yeah. Is that after England wins the World Cup? I think so,
I-
right?
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Listen, if England wins the World Cup, Honduras is going to then.
That's right. They're playing Italy, man. We keep telling Sean CFO that, right? And he always wants to bring up the Euros, man. But whatever,
Nice.
let the man have his glory.
Awesome. Getting into Charlotte FC a little bit. I mean, after 2 consecutive wins, Inter Miami 1-0 a week ago, a U.S. Open Cup game where Charlotte FC totally dominated a Richmond team, a USL 1 side. Charlotte comes home, and we take our first loss since LA against Montreal Impact. A 2-0 loss here at home. A game that a lot of us were surprised, not that Montreal would do well, but more in terms of how Miguel actually set up this game tactically. I believe we saw 3 changes in his lineup, and he kind of diverged from that 4-3-3 that's been successful the last 2 games and went with a 4-4-2. We saw 3 changes. We saw Yazviak and Gaines go to the bench, and Shinyashiki come up top and partner up with Karol Swiderski. And we saw Alan Franco get added to that midfield. And you know what? It was a very interesting game, to say the least. Before I give my thoughts, I kind of want to hear your thoughts. And we'll start off with Lee. Give me your thoughts on the game so far. And I want to hear from people in the comments as well.
Yeah, man. I'm just frustrated as hell. We came out, we played. It's like Miguel was scared, right? All we hear from Mars is like, if you don't take risks, you don't get rewards, blah, 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 blah. But here we come out. We finally got a team that can set up 4-3-3. We set up 4-4-2 diamond, which we had to play in the past due to the players we had. Now we got the players where we can play the 4-4 or the 4-3-3. And yet we didn't. So I don't know, Miguel. I put this one on Mars. I love Miggy Smalls, man, but I put it on him. We're playing slow ball, predictable football, and it's just nothing. There's no creativity within the team.
Yeah, I think even just mentioning that, like we pretty much know our 4 starting center backs, and we're starting to see who's going to go up top.
Yep.
The interesting thing is we see a lot of changes in that mid, especially that creative role, or that role like, we've seen Sergio Ruiz there. We've seen Jordi Alcivar. We've seen Titi Ortiz. So it's a position that's still.
The man doesn't know his starting 11. He doesn't know what he wants to play. We're at home, and like we've alluded to earlier in the conversation, our atmosphere is ridiculous. We're behind for 95 minutes, we're cheering on that team. And for us to play, I'm going to call it defensively, for us to play that way, I just feel I'm frustrated. Like, I love the team, but the tactics and everything this weekend was completely wrong.
Awesome. Tonio, give us your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I think one of the keys was that we couldn't stop, or we couldn't cut Wanyama's passing lanes, that he finded Mihailovic and Torres free so many times. And let me tell you something, if the Shinjashiki goal goes in, or the second chance that Franco had after the crossbar, that's a completely different game. I know that you need to score the chances that you have, and probably this wasn't the match with the most creative chances. But I mean, Montreal is a pretty good team, and if we see the teams that we have lost against is the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I mean, we beat Cincy, that's now the number 4 in the Eastern Conference. We split games with Atlanta and New England. And I know that we're kind of talking about the tactic or the formation, but at the end of the day, you need just to find ways to progress to the last third. Whatever you're using, a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 with a diamond. And we know that Miguel prepares the games, just studying the rival, studying the opponent.
But let me ask you this, though. Why prepare for that as the playing against the rival, why not prepare for our best formation and let them deal with us, right? I mean,
Yeah.
again, we're always slow in that final third in the pitch. It drives me insane. There's no movement off the ball. The only one that seems to really make any runs right now is Andre Shashinsky, right? And I screw everybody's name up. And by the way, we love the shipping department. And like, it drives me insane. We shouldn't be, especially at home, we shouldn't be worried about them. They should be worried about us, right? We were on a streak too, right? We were 5 games that we had won at home, and 4, and they've gone on 20 out of 23 points or whatever it is possible. So we were both on a streak. One of us had to lose it, right? Unless obviously there was a draw. It just frustrates me how predictable our play is.
No, but I would say that if you keep the same formation, that's when you're predictable. So Miguel is trying to change different formations just to create a mismatch what he sees and the patterns that the opponent has. So if you get the same 11, if you get the same formation, that's being predictable.
Does Mars know his starting 11 though? Does he know who his starting 11 is?
I mean, if you see the minutes that the players, the top 11 or 12 players, I would say that he has a pool, and it's pretty clear. You just see the minutes that they've been played. They have a, let's say, 11 or 13 player pool that's your starting 11. It doesn't mean to be like the same 11 each and every game. You have that pool of 12, 13 players those are your starting 11 guys. So, and I think this process of, just constituting the team with the way that Miguel's want to play, that we all know is with wingers, and the Kyle situation. I mean, the Camille Josbeck situation. He's still trying to adapt and adjust to MLS rhythm, and I think Shinjashiki was a great addition. It's obvious. I mean, because he's so versatile. He can play striker. He can play as a winger, and now I think Miguel feels better to use wingers now that they have some minutes on their
right.
belt.
But I mean, if we're using wingers, why are we doing the 4-4-2 diamond versus the 4-3-3? Right. I mean, to me, we set up. It felt like it feels like Mars was expecting us to lose. Right. I mean, we had talked about it on previous shows, right, that we would be happy with a draw, but it just seemed like we were too cautious of them. We would. And instead of taking the game,
the overall feeling that we got as fans seeing the formation, even to be fair, how Miguel talked about Montreal after the game, is like he just put too much respect on this team.
He was kissing their ass, man. He was kissing their ass.
And if we're playing at home, right, that's when we want to see, right? Like, especially you just incorporated 2 more wingers, albeit Vargas isn't here yet. We've got Yazviak here, who's, you're right, like he still needs some time, but like, you know what, like you had Reyna, who played really, really well the last 2 games, right? And then you have a guy like Shinyashiki who's coming in and just lighting it up from the beginning, right? And so it just felt to me, and from a lot of fans, that like there was too much respect given to this Montreal team, which we already knew that we were playing a really great team, but I think fans would have been happier seeing us go for it versus what it felt like playing a little bit more conservative, trying to stop that channel, trying to stop a guy like Torres, Mihailovic, and Kyoto, who were just running us wild that first half.
It's very frustrating to watch. And I'm sorry, Charlotte FC Spanish TV, that we're, I'm not coming at you, right? I'm just frustrated overall as a fan, just like everybody out there, right? And us in the sports,
just like us, yeah.
We're singing, we're screaming, we're yelling, we're behind this team. And I would rather us get beat 5-0 with us playing attacking football than losing 2-0 like we did this weekend and sitting back. Like it was like we were just waiting to see what they were going to do, and then we were going to react. Like Jaws should have been on. He should have started, right? Why not? Why not start the guy?
Right. And I mean, Montreal is a team in the MLS who has conceded the most. Right, so this 100%. Is a team that we should be going after.
Oh, I'm so frustrated right now with this team, man. And I know we're young and we're an expansion team, and I've got to kind of dial it back a little bit on that aspect. But I just felt like we could have probably taken them, man. Like you said, right? Andre hit the post or the crossbar or whatever, right? I mean, it could have been the conversation at halftime could have been a lot different, right? I mean, they scored what in the 44th minute. Obviously, that changes the game for them too.
Time. So
Yeah.
those situations, they need to find a way to learn, and it's a process to learn to just get those situations right. And because we've seen them getting scored in the stoppage time or in the last minutes of the first or the second half. And I really think that soccer matches are about just like emotions, because it's like different moments of the game that just they need to manage the emotions. And it's sometimes it's just not tactic, it's just not luck, but it's just, I know it's frustrating. But the thing that I really think they need to keep working is just get that, not just having a creative player, just create links between players. I call them mini societies. For example, Miguel calls them, this connection between, let's say, the left back, the left interior midfielder, and the left winger. It's very important for him. Same on the other side. And find the third passer. What's finding the third passer? Let's put an example. Bronico is the first passer, who is the holding midfielder. Then Carroll is dropping closer to Brand. He's a second passer. Then the question is, who's creating the run in another position to be the third passer? And that's when you get to the last third, and things maybe.
But it falls apart right around there. It always falls apart for us right there, or we're always looking back.
Yeah, that's the link. That's the connection that you gotta make. And for me, what you do without the ball is even more important than
100%.
What you do when you don't have the ball. In this system is even more important.
I just think the tactics were completely wrong. They didn't outplay us. They just took their opportunities, right? It was like, even on the first goal, I think it was, right? I'm watching some player, it may have been McCoon, it may have been somebody else, but they were just jogging back, and their player was sprinting to the goal, which the simple pass over, and it was a goal. I mean, Kalina can't stop everything. He stops 90% of everything, but he can't stop everything.
Like, Kalina still came up with some clutch saves.
Yeah.
There was one he had on Kyoto that was just like one-handed, and I'm like, bro, like this guy. I think someone put out a stat that in terms of like saving percentages, Kalina is like in the top 5 in the MLS, which I mean speaks well of our goalie. But it's also
some of these results, man. Some of these results could be a lot worse than what they have been if it wasn't for Kalina.
That's a great point.
Well, we're fortunate to have a good goalkeeper, because, man, I've seen MLS goalkeepers since maybe 2 years that I started following the MLS, and it's a pain to watch some of the goaltenders. But yeah, I know I get your point. And on the defensive side, second balls are killing us. They need to have more continuity to the play. Don't stop when you lose the rebound. Just keep playing and keep chasing the ball. And the very first goal, what I say is, don't defend the man, don't defend the ball, just defend the space, defend the gap.
Because we do a lot of ball watching too, man. We react after the ball has been moved to some aspect of the pitch, right?
That's what I saw from the first goal, from the Mihailovic goal, is that Torres dragged McCoon out of his position, 100%. And that's the space that was created. And then Georgie made the run, and that's a chance created. So it's different. That's the things that you want to see from our attacking guys, just to drag defenders out of position. I think that's one of Carroll's job. But then that's the run that someone, the third passer, needs to make behind those center backs and create a space. And again, the second goal was because of the second balls that
we outnumbered them. We did not shut them down, and we gave them a free shot at goal. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we could have shut them down, or at least put some pressure on them shooting at the goal. But
and you also got to think about too, who's been our best center back this season? It's been Christian Fuchs.
I don't know, man.
Fuchs this weekend. I mean, like, you could say what you want about the guy, but he brings in a different level of experience.
100%. He runs, or he's gassed out after 90 minutes, man. He is completely gassed out, right? And I still so Guzman is a good player too, and I think he plays a lot. But all I'm going to say is this, right? Austin last year was screaming wolf out, right? and they wanted the manager gone and everything else. And now look how the season's turned around this year, right? So as an expansion team, I don't want to get too nitpicking on the coach and the tactics and everything else, but I mean, hell, we all kind of see what's going to happen.
Well, you know what? Like, there's a to what you're saying. I think this is a game where we, as a fan base and how we look at the game, I think all of us are putting this one on Miguel. You know,
100%.
you know,
Yep.
like there's other games where we've played, i.e. Atlanta away, where you're like, you know what, like we were unlucky, or you know, like DC, like there's just been like games where like we don't blame the coach. There's a few games, this one and the one that sticks out to me, the Philly game where we played a back five as well, where you can tactically say, you know what, like I felt like Miguel was more conservative here and was looking for a point versus trying to win the game, and
just not get embarrassed, right? He just didn't.
No,
it's like he played it not to get embarrassed.
I wouldn't say that he played conservative. Is that Montreal, Orlando, and Philadelphia are top 3 seeds in the East, and they're a pretty good football team. So it is what it is. Sometimes we just need to learn from losing, and it's what it is. It's sports. And
I'm with Carl on this, though, man. It's like we don't have that one player that says, you know what, screw it, give me the ball. I'm gonna take control of this. I'm gonna take the game by the scruff of the neck, and I'm gonna run at these defenders, and I'm gonna make chances. Like we always seem to be playing in like the back third or the middle third of the pitch. We up front, it seems like we just lose it.
You know, and what I've seen from Bram Bronico as a holding midfielder in Miguel's system, it's huge. And I have a ton of respect. I have a ton of respect on Brand, and he's just doing exactly what Miguel wants to do as a holding midfielder. And just look at him sometimes. I know that we get frustrated when in the first third we can't progress with the ball. Just look at him, how he drops between the center backs just to create more space for the interior midfielders, let's say Franco or Bender or the other guy that's playing in the midfield. He's just so smart. When trouble is coming, when they're pressing us high, he just drops between the center backs. That creates a lot of space, and that creates freedom and more like breathing room for, you know, just keep playing what Miguel's want to do. So yeah, I
never seem to be able to progress though. I agree with all your points there. It just seems that once we're attacking and we're in that final third, it's like we don't know what the hell to do.
Well, a lot of that has
that's a missing piece sometimes.
Yeah. I think that has to do as well, like where we're saying, like, I feel like we still don't have that player we don't have a Torres, we don't have a Carles Hill, we don't have an Acosta that's going to give you that final pass that you're like this is the guy, right? And that's what I've seen, like, you know, like even like
it's just frustrating. It's very frustrating.
It is. I agree with you there. But you know what? Like, this is the good thing is that like we have our team and we can assess the areas that like, okay, like we kind of need to bring in players in going into the summer transfer.
Where do we need players at? Where would you say is our weakest spot right now, Jorge?
I think we need an attacking midfielder, bro.
100%.
That's where my money would go in terms of.
Yeah, those are the expensive guys, we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Drop the money, man. You've got the buckets, man. We got a DP spot available. Spend some cash, right? Yeah. What's the most expensive player we bought right now? $5 million was Carroll.
Yep.
Right? Come on. You can drop $10 million on an attacking midfielder. I mean, our whole salary base as after today coming out is $10 million, right? We're like the second or third lowest. Oh God, I'm so frustrated with this team.
Lee frustrated today.
I did, man. I'm sorry, man. It's like I know we can do better. You know, it's like when the kid goes into a sport and you know, like, hey, dude, instead of sitting there and picking the damn grass, you could at least run, right?
Just let me ask you this: if we're in the month of January, and I tell you that in May the Charlotte FC will be 9th seed in the East with 13 points and still alive in the U.S. Open Cup, would you believe me?
Yeah. Right. No, so that's valid.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's valid, right? Because we had even said offline, right? If we were right there in the mix, we'd be happy and we want to see progress and everything. And I think my frustration becomes because I know the potential this team has, right?
Hey, he's
And
there.
it's like, come on, I'm just sitting on the edge of my chair, standing, screaming, we're from the Carolinas or Delhi, Dolly, Charlotte, right? Whatever, knowing that we're this close to clicking and actually going on a good run. Maybe when we beat the Whitecaps this weekend and then we go and beat Seattle, I think is our next game away.
Yeah.
Yeah, winning changes the narrative of
Oh,
everything.
100%.
Right? Like, yeah, I think so too. Because if we would have, if that goal by Shinyashiki would have went in,
Yeah, it would
and
have been.
we would have won 1-0. Oh, Miguel is brilliant,
I know, but just what I try to say is just take a look at the teams that we've lost against. They're not like bottom teams in the MLS. So,
Not until they play us, at least.
And to be fair, we've had
and this very first third of the schedule, we've had very tough opponents so far. I mean, so I think that helps the team, so they can grow, they can establish the game model, they can feel more comfortable in the pitch, and playing early in the season with these very good teams and good opposition gets you, I mean, stronger for what's coming in the season.
Would you have been happier, though, if we had gone all-out attack versus kind of sitting back and respecting Montreal so much this weekend?
Just the only thing that I wanted to see from them is just to push and pressure Wanjama, because he was the key player and he created everything just to get Torres and Mihailovic the ball. I thought that Sergio Ruiz was going to be all over him. I thought that was Sergio's role at the beginning. Maybe the first 10 minutes he did something of that, but they just control the game, and sometimes we just need to accept that they are better. It's not that Miguel missed the lineup or the tactics, or I mean, it could possibly be that situation. But I really think that this game against Montreal, the Philadelphia game, and the Orlando game was a little bit out of our hands just because of the type of opposition we got in front of us.
Was the 4-4-2 the best formation, though, for this weekend?
No, Lee. I mean, I get what you're saying, Lee, too, and I get what Tonyo's saying. The only like you said, and you keep reiterating, Lee, is that we'd rather lose feeling like we went for it versus feeling like we're concerned.
I'm sorry, I'm just really frustrated with Charlotte this week.
No, but just
poor Tonyo happens to be the guest on here.
No, it's all good, man. But we just gotta see when our center backs are playing. Sometimes they play at midfield, and that's a very good nugget to watch during the game, like how many risks we're taking. And that one of the questions that Jorge has is like, who's the better center back so far for us? And I think it's Corujo. I mean, I love Christian Fuchs. He's the captain. He is an experienced guy. He's a fantastic dude on and off the field. But Corujo holds you, like Miguel said. Corujo, he's an anchor. He's the last guy. He's making all the coverages behind the center backs and the fullbacks. And you really want that type of center back with this game model. When you try to take some risk up front, Corujo is the guy to have back. And I'm just so happy that we have him. And sometimes the center backs, they have different roles. It's not that, okay, he's a left-footed center back, he plays on the left. It's not just that type of roles. So someone goes with the man and someone goes to the space just to go behind the ball.
I'm with you. I think Guzman, I call him Guzman because it's easier for me to pronounce, but it's just I think he's probably our best defense. Like, he's my next captain, right? When Fuchs goes on, I want Guzman to be my captain. He's always in there. He's always getting stuck in. And then, you see him make a saving tackle back here, and then next thing you know, he's shooting at goal. The guy's all over the pitch, and then sometimes, I mean, that comes back and bites us because he's out of position. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Guzman.
Nice. Well, speaking of games like Orlando and speaking of games in Montreal, we're about a third of the season in so far. Hard to believe, right? It felt like it was forever for us to get the team here. We're already 12 games in the MLS, 13 this week against Vancouver. If we're looking at it, we've got 4 wins, 1 tie, 7 losses so far in the first third of the season. Now, to give everybody perspective, right? Like, at the beginning of the season, Miguel with his famous quotes to Top Bin 90 said, "Estamos jodidos," right?
What does that mean?
We're screwed.
Okay, just make sure.
It can mean a couple other things depending on the country that you're in,
I'm in America.
right?
Yeah.
But then if you look at it and you assess most games, one thing that Miguel said at a press conference that I see in our team is like, we're a team that's going to be difficult to beat, right? And, you know, from where he said we were at to where we're at now, 4 wins, 1 tie, 7 losses. How would you guys assess the season so far? How would you maybe grade it? And I want to hear from everybody in the comments as well.
I think my problem is I see how good we can be and how close we are where that record could be completely different, right? DC United, LA, Atlanta away, right? Those were 3 games that could have been completely different.
Yeah.
And
also,
I think
also to that point though, there's games that we've had at home that could have been completely different.
we're not going to talk about those games.
Cincinnati at home, that first half, Acosta was ripping us a new one. You know, we got lucky, a couple of great Kalina saves. I just want to throw that in there as well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think my problem is, as a fan, and strictly as a fan, is that I've seen that potential, and it's like we just can't get there for whatever reason, right? A bad call, a bad deflection, a bad decision where we shot ourselves in the foot. I give us a B- so far. I mean, we're not bottom of the table, and I'm trying to understand how the MLS is more of a marathon versus a sprint, right? There's like 3 different seasons pretty much inside the MLS. So hopefully, you know, just give me an away win and let's get that monkey off our back. And then let's just play the rest of the season. And then obviously the summer transfer. And then we'll make the playoffs while we win the US Open Cup.
Nice.
Love that. I love that.
There you go.
How would you assess our season so far?
I think it's been pretty decent, and not just talking about results, because I know that results dictate everything, and in every sport. But performance-wise, I think it's been better than I expected, to be honest. And I see the progress, and I see the patterns and the movements and the mechanics that they try to practice. And I know it's frustrating because when you face opponents like the ones that we already know that we face, it's tough to play the way that they wanted to do. But I know for fans it's frustrating to not look about results, and the results will come. I just think that, as I told you recently, if I ask you the same question, if we were in the month of January, that we were now in the month of May, sitting at the 9th seed of the East Conference with 13 points, more points than New England, that was coming from a historic season last year. You know, New England has 12 points now. So I don't want to compare with anyone, but as a new club, we just gotta have like a parameter just to compare us against each other. But
Very many highs and lows, right? As a new expansion team, it's very high and lows, right? It's like
right. And I've been tracking the last 7 expansion teams in their very first season, and we have now 13 points, and the average after 12 games is 11 points.
Right.
From the last 7 inaugural season for expansion clubs. And if we win just 1 more in 3 games, we will total the average from 15 games. That's 16.5 points. So that's, I don't want to keep comparing us against another expansion clubs, but we need a metric. We need just a parameter just to feel where we're sitting now. And
to add to that too, we're playing in a tougher MLS than Atlanta came into, than what Nashville came into. You know what I'm saying? So this is a stronger MLS that we're playing in. Plus those first 10 games, going back to that, we played some really, really tough opponents. Twice we played the Supporter Shield Cup winner. We played teams like Philadelphia. We've played teams like Atlanta home and away. And I feel like we've held our own. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's specific matches I can say yo, Miguel did this wrong, or there's certain things that I see that like, okay, like this probably wasn't the right thing to do. But in the overall balance, I wouldn't give the team a B minus. I'd give them a C plus.
Do you think it's like the club's fault though that we're this frustrated? Not meaning the players or Miguel, right? I'm talking about like, when they come out and said we're going to make the playoffs, we're going to do this, right? They set those
There's a
expectations,
couple
right?
of things that I would say factor into that. One is our former president now saying that like, yo, we want to host a playoff game, right?
We were going to host a playoff. We were told that when we announced Miguel.
Right. So like if we're saying we're gonna host a playoff game, IA meaning we're gonna be in the top 4 of the East. And then the second thing that like everybody already knows is the PSL and the pricing of our tickets. If people are expected to pay one of the top ticketings in the MLS, the quality of the squad should be there as well, theoretically, right? So a lot of these things are pressure points that the club put on themselves. So our expectations are kind of like this, but I kind of like that people are frustrated. Like somebody said earlier in the comments, that we're frustrated that we're losing matches at home. That's a good thing. We should be thinking of our team. We should be demanding more of our team as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure the players feel it too, right? I mean, you can tell that they're playing as hard as they can. I just feel like there's something missing, and I can't put my finger on it.
But that's the one thing I do also like about what I see. I think all the players that they've brought in, the technical staff, the coach, it feels like everybody is bought in to wanting to have a good season. And I think that's very, very important. Even tonight's event that I went to, like most of those players weren't required to be there. I asked a lot of them, I was like, did you guys have to be here? And they're like, no, we wanted to be here. That shows you the commitment they have to the team. Right, which is something that like you don't see in every team.
Yeah,
and it is a pretty young season.
Right,
week 11 probably we're closing to the first third of the season, and I don't want to say that the schedule is going to be easier, but when you get more games under your belt, getting more comfortable with the system, and I would say giving Shinja Shiki and Josbiak more time just to get repetitions and create these links with the guys that have been already in the roster. We've seen their impact so far. And to be honest, the number 9 seed so far is not a bad spot to be in after 12 games. So I think that's the floor. And I know that we've been hearing about to adjust expectations, but we as fans, because I'm still a fan. I mean, I work for the team and I do the broadcast and all of this, but I want them to win, and I still get frustrated when we lost. But we can't sometimes ask to a fan just to adjust expectations because we want to win. I mean, the players want to win, Miguel want to win, and now this, like, I don't want to say new mindset, but they already know that they can compete.
That's the results business, right? At the end of the day,
I know. Yeah, it won't always be like that.
Also, you have to think about this. Like Tonio said, it's a young season, but also, we've got Vinny Mello coming in soon. We got Kerwin Vargas coming in soon. Chris Hagart, is a midfield that could potentially be a guy that can create for us. We just haven't seen enough from him to say, like, so like. I feel like there's more places, more competition coming in as well, and that should theoretically only help. Having a guy like Kerwin Vargas come in here, who was really close to signing for Porto, could come and add something different to the team. Vinny Mello, we have no idea what kind of – we might get like –
but a man needs to get in shape, that's for sure.
What?
I said he needs to get in shape, that's for sure.
So we just got to see, you know what I'm saying? So like Tonio said, it's still early on in the season, and the MLS, like you said, Lee, is more of a marathon, not just a sprint.
Right.
And
for example,
go ahead.
The Vancouver game, I think I don't want to put the word must-win game, but it feels like the Miami game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like those breaking points during the season, because then you need to travel to Seattle. that's gonna be a fun one. And you got the break after the Seattle game, and well, the cup first, and then you face the Rebels again. So
Yeah.
I think that break is gonna be a good breathing room for the team, and we can just sit after 15 games. That's the mark that I just put on the schedule, on the calendar. I just, it's the first evaluation that I really want to make from the team after 15 games, because it's a good amount of minutes and film just to study and get what the team is doing good, which formation actually fits them better, because we already know that 4-3-3 is Miguel's playing style. It's Miguel's formation, and we're gonna get there, and they're gonna keep adjusting some pieces because of the opponent that we have in front each and every week. But as I said, it's not how we play or which formation we use. It's just finding the spaces and just the mechanism of getting the ball to the last third, which is the component that's been missing so far, and just creating more lanes to our strikers, and finding, as I told you, the third passer. Those little things are the hardest things, and you just got to work as a team to get them done.
I think as we play more, right, the team chemistry will grow for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking a little bit on Vancouver this weekend, like Toño said, he doesn't want to say it's a must-win game, but I'm going to say it. It is a must-win.
You say it. You can say it, yeah.
It is a must-win game. Why? Because we're playing the team that's in the bottom of the West that has 2 wins this season, that has yet to win away, a team that we should theoretically be beating. Like I said at the start of this 3 home game stint, I would be okay. I would be content with 6 points, happy with 7, over the moon with 9, right? In all of our minds, a loss against Montreal was a reality, right? That it wasn't like something that would come out of shock, right? And like I said against the game against Inter Miami, like, of course I want us to play well, but for me, this game, just give me the 3 points, right? No matter how, get us the 3 points, because in my opinion, we're going to go away to Seattle, and I find it very difficult to think that we're going to pull anything out of that game. So we definitely need these 3 points coming in, especially with the team that we're playing, and also that we're playing at home.
And right? and that Vancouver plays tomorrow.
Yeah,
they play against Dallas, so they have a short week of preparation. They have a short week of recovery. They need to travel from Vancouver to Charlotte. So, and I know that the team and Miguel, he doesn't care about what Vancouver is bringing. He cares about establishing the system for this game, and they just take care of their own business. But we have taken into consideration that Vancouver is going to have a short week of working and studying in Charlotte, and getting some of the guys that play tomorrow ready for the trip on Sunday. I think that's why we're playing on Sunday, just to give Vancouver a couple of resting hours.
Right. And then, Lee, what are your thoughts on this game, man? Especially because here's my thoughts, right? Put the starting lineup against your best 11, put them against Montreal. Then midweek next week, going into Red Bull, put your best 11 again, and then put whatever you have left against Seattle away, because I'd rather see us go through in that Open Cup, and I'll take an L in Seattle.
Oh, man. Well, like you said, right, 6 out of 9 points. We kind of all talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Complete would be happy with that. Frustrated as hell for the Montreal game, just because we all know the team can do better. You're right? So come out, beat Vancouver this weekend, make it convincing. Let's not just scrape by with a 1-0 win. Let's do like 3-0, 3-1. US Cup, Open Cup, I would love for us to go as far as possible in that, because it just gives us some time away from the MLS. And, if we were to win it as an expansion team, that would be something too, right? That first year we get a cup. But I'm going to go out here on the limb, and I'm going to say that our first away win is going to be against Seattle.
Ooh,
cool.
Okay.
I like it.
Against the CONCACAF Champions League winner.
Hey, why not? Why not? Right?
We see
Burnley beating City all the time. Just not
Well,
Liverpool beating City.
we see small teams like Spurs beating Man City, right? So
Sorry, you froze. What was that? Yeah, I think Seattle. I just think we're gonna go take Seattle, man. I just have a weird feeling, like I don't know, false confidence maybe, but I would love for us to win this weekend, obviously, since it's our last home game, and then go beat win
and
the
And we,
Cup.
go ahead, Tony.
we need to be aware that Bram Bronico and Jordi Alcivar, they both have 4 yellow cards. So
Yeah,
you got to manage those things. That we're getting into that part of the season that
Yes.
the suspensions might be a thing. And I was talking to Will Martin this evening, and he said that we probably rather have Brownico for the Seattle game or resting him or get the suspension and go all over for the U.S. Open Cup. So
right.
that's the things that you need to plan right now. Would I push a guy just to have the yellow card and get a suspension, but play him in the cup? And those are the things that I asked Miguel, like I think it was last week, and he said if it's gonna happen, the suspension is gonna happen. If he gets the 5th yellow card, it doesn't matter. But I think sometimes it does matter, and they just gotta plan
seems to
what
pick up
to do
those
with the squad.
yellows, though, right? He seems to get nailed for those. I don't know if it's the MLS refs or whatnot, but he always seems to get. It's always that one moment when you're like, Jesus, man, what the hell? Why are you doing that, ref? And he gives Bronico that yellow card, and it's like that was so weak, right? It was so weak.
And I just want to do a little rant on the U.S. Open Cup about if your team cannot host a game at your home, you should not be requesting to play a home game, right? We're freaking going to some Nowheresville, New Jersey, in some bleacher. Like
We're in the Northeast now. We're in the Northeast now.
right,
Check your map.
yeah, that's the first problem. We're part of the
We're right above Pennsylvania, North Carolina.
The second thing is that we're playing somewhere because the home team that's supposed to host can't host at their place. We have to go somewhere else where we could have easily played in Charlotte, packed it out, and had a great atmosphere for that game as well. And so that's just stuff that, like, to me, like, I don't get from the MLS or from US soccer that does these things. Like, we didn't request to host in the game that we had against Greenville because we had a concert here, right? It should be the same thing. It should be the same thing everywhere else. If your team cannot host at your home stadium, you should not be allowed to request a home game. But I just wanted to put that out there because I find it really dumb that we have to go.
No, yeah, it makes sense. But to be honest, I love for us to be underdogs. Because what if we get the home game at the U.S. Open Cup? The expectations would be we need to win at home. We can't lose at home. What if we lose at Bank of America Stadium? So I just love for us to be an underdog in this cup tournament, and it adds a different flavor. And I think the players and the coaching staff, they enjoy a lot playing in the cup. It's
a lot. I feel like the pressure's
you get out of the right, and some of the things that you probably did wrong in the weekend during the MLS tournament, you can get it out of your system during the U.S. Open Cup. So I get your point, and I was just cheering and rooting for the U.S. Federation to get us a home U.S. Open Cup game. But I love to still be an underdog in this tournament.
Well, I mean, the club has also alluded that there's going to be this extra game that we get as season ticket holders, right? And it's like, well, we're not getting the Chelsea game, right? We know that almost for a fact, so, and maybe we'll make the playoffs. We don't know, right? So what other game is there, right? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, where's this magic game coming from?
Well,
it's going to be a pickup game.
I know, Antonio can't touch on this, but, like, we all virtually know that, like, Chelsea's coming to Charlotte July 20th here. And so we'll see. It'll be I like that we're playing a team like Chelsea because it gives us that international exposure, but also, like, bro, like, we're still in season, right?
Yeah, well, Chelsea ain't getting any of my money. I'll go to Carowinds that game.
But anyway, but I forgot. I don't know where I was going with.
We were talking about we was on the U.S. Open Cup, right? I just hope we make obviously we seem to be doing better on the road in that game. You know, like Top Ben hit on, right? Why host a game if you can't host a game, right?
Right.
And
It makes sense.
yeah, I would love for us to win, and we'll see what happens, man.
Right. Awesome. And then, as you know, I can't end the show without getting everyone in the comments as well score predictions for this weekend. And I'm going to start off with you, Lee. Tell me, does Charlotte get another win this weekend? Is it an upset, a Vancouver masterclass coming to Charlotte FC? Give me your score predictions and who you think will score.
All right, so I'm going to go with 3-0. And I'm going to say Carroll gets 2. And
6-0.
yeah, Fuchs gets the header to just wrap it up in the 80th minute.
Okay. Awesome. Tonio, what are you thinking of this game, man? Can Charlotte FC pull it off?
Yeah, and you know that I've been very honest with you every single week that you ask me the same question, and sometimes I'm very, very honest, and I told you, I don't think we're winning or it's gonna be a tough one, but I feel comfortable about the matchup. I think we can be relaxed. That's the one thing that, just because Vancouver is last in the conference, we can't just think about that. Just get your mindset ready, get the same mentality, the same approach as we were playing Montreal. That's what I want to see the guys, not get comfortable about the opponent that we're facing. So I think they're winning this, probably 3-1, I would say. So that's.
I feel like the boys have got something that they want to come out and prove to us before they hit the road again.
I think so too, and I agree with Tonio's score predictions. I think the same thing. I think we'll win 3-1 this weekend. 1, like everybody's pissed that we lost last weekend, and 2, like I feel like we're playing a team that theoretically we're better than, right? And but like Tonio said, like we need to go in that mindset, like bro, like let's win this game. Like it doesn't matter who we're playing against,
right?
Like, let's prove to our crowd, especially being at home, that this is a fortress, that coming to Charlotte is a very, very difficult place to play at.
And it's Sunday, and it's supposed to rain.
Okay. So that will be interesting. And, before the Montreal game, I mean, we know that just the Galaxy have beaten us at home. But we've just received 2 goals. That's something even, I think, better from playing at home. Just 2 goals. There was the Galaxy goal that was out of this league, and the New England goal. Just 2 goals received at home. That
was a penalty.
Probably that's a stat that we didn't care about or we didn't see, but it was there. So after the 2 goals that we conceded against Montreal, that's 4 now. But the next home game that we play, it will be June 11 against New York. So it will be a nice way just to end this 3-game streak at home with a victory, and I think we can get it. Yeah, I'm very positive.
Yep. I mean, if we pull off that win, that's 6 out of 9 points at home that we've gotten, and the only loss would come from the team that sits first in the East right now. I'll take that all day, right? And so and I want to give a special shout out as well, because this is my show, to Liverpool winning the Premier League this weekend. So we're gonna.
See, he keeps freezing up. Jorge, you still there with us, buddy? You still there with us?
Man City's gonna bottle it, and then we're gonna win our game and be crowned champions. And so it'll be a great way celebrating going into the Vancouver game. So I just want to throw that out there real quick.
You're gonna be on the show tomorrow night, right?
I'm too busy thinking about the Serie A finale with Inter Milan and AC Milan having like the same battle, because I'm a huge Inter fan. So I'm having my head on that.
Okay.
This weekend. It's gonna be a frustrating weekend for me, I think. Not talking about Charlotte FC, talking about Inter.
I'm with Crowns, man. Third Crowns comment up there. I'm with him, man. This is to you, Jorge.
You shouldn't drink before going live. I'm with pause right there, up the Reds.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Come
Yeah,
on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. We're going for third, man. Chelsea gonna lose, and we're gonna piff them, man. We're going for third. Kings of London. Kings of London.
Awesome. Lee, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, man. Where can we find you at, my man?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. We love you, bro, man. You're an OG. As always, CLTFC Fan TV. We drop that fan reactions every Tuesday. If you haven't seen that, it's on our YouTube channel. Tomorrow night, we won't be as professional as Top Ben, and we'll be cutting it up on our live show at 9. So, yeah, CLTFC Fan TV. All we ask you to do is hit the sub button for us.
Love that. Antonio, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate your dynamic, your perspective of the game as well. You're a guy that I respect and look up to a lot there at Charlotte FC. And where can we find you at?
No, thanks, Jorge, for having me. I really had a great time, and hope it's not the last time I step in this huge podcast that I told you. It's an honor for me to be here. And you can find me in Twitter. It's Ramos019. You can find me there. And of course, we're talking about soccer, but for Los Panthers, we also run the social media for accounts in Spanish for the Carolina Panthers. You can find us as Los Panthers. So hope I see you guys in the stadium next week, and just continue the chat in Twitter as well.
It's a pleasure meeting you too, man.
Otherwise, hope to see you in person next time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nice. Awesome. And with that, you guys know where to find me at TopBin90 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Real TopBin90 on TikTok. I got some really cool stuff coming up in the next week or two as well. I got confirmation of something tonight. I'm not gonna just share it just yet.
No, you say that every time, man.
And
you
why
say
not
that
deliver?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and, instead of holding out, why don't you just drop it? Say, like, I got some breaking news, man. I'm gonna throw down on you right now. And then
it's your show, man. It's your show.
And everybody be on Twitter, be like, what you got?
I dropped that jersey on you last week.
No, but you kind of
what do you want me to do, bro?
You kind of fed us a week before, man. Like, just go ahead and just
I'm preparing you for what's about
hit
to
the
come.
broadcast button, man, and then we'll take it over to social. Come on, Jorge, just break the damn news already, man.
Nice. And with that, thank you guys so much for joining another episode of the MLS Corner. Have a great night.